All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got my coffee right here. Welcome to Thunder Ducky. Going to be talking about Rings of Power, Episode 5. You know, I thought I'd seen the worst episode with 2. Because 2, there wasn't really anything happening and it was very boring. This one, there was a lot that just makes you wonder if they really are spending $500,000 per episode. Just curious, because there's a line between Elrond and Doran. And this is literally the quote. Just give me the meat and give it to me raw. Really? Out of all the ways you could say, don't beat around the bush, just get to the point, you had to say it that way? Who is writing this shit? Straight up. And then they had this little moment after he said that where Doran sits down on a rock, fucking Elrond sits down on a rock, and then they look at each other. And they got these little smirks, and then they giggle, and have this little banter back and forth, and then it cuts to them doing something different. It's like, who's writing this shit? And then there's it's not technically a sword fight, but there is a training session in this episode because Numenor has decided that they're going to help Galadriel, and what they're going to do is they're going to send 500 men, 5 ships, with her over to Middle Earth to fight. By the way, probably about 40,000 fucking orcs. Yeah, 500 to 40,000. That math doesn't really work out. You know what I'm saying? But like, it makes no sense whatsoever. 2 of the ships get blown up by a politician's son, and the captain's son, who was a stowaway, tried to stop him, but then covered for him. Why? They never say why he decided to cover for him. Motherfucker just blew up 2 ships. And if you hadn't awakened up or rattled the bags that you had been sitting on that contained some kind of food, you'd be dead on that ship, dead. And you're just gonna cover for him. I'm sorry, but if someone comes at me with a gun and they start popping off shots, we'll say a revolver. If someone comes at me with a 6-shot revolver and they fire all 6 shots and miss, I'm not gonna say, you know what, you missed. It's all good, no problem. Go ahead, go about your day, man. You missed. No harm, no foul. No, I'm pulling my piece. That motherfucker going down because the motherfucker tried to kill you. He tried to kill you. Yeah, he didn't know you were there, but that's not the point. You think bombers care about killing kids? No, they just happen to be somewhere where they're planting a bomb. Anyway, I think we're going off on a tangent. It just makes no sense. He was gonna toast you alive. I mean, the explosion they showed. By the way, the explosion, that wasn't oil or anything. That was wine. And if their wine's that explosive, they oh my god, it's a wonder they're not dead already from consumption. But let's go back to the training scene. So there's a training scene for the military in a public street next to shops, where I would assume people would walk through. Does the military not have a barracks? Does the military not have a training ground? Does the military not have anywhere their soldiers can train? And at that point, can we even call them fucking soldiers? And then during this scene, Galadriel, what does she say? She says, "I'll make it simple for you, or I'll keep it simple and strong for you. The best way to kill an orc is to stab, twist, and then gut them. No. I mean, somebody could be in a lot of pain, but somebody can still fight. I mean, it's somewhat debilitating, but as far as effective methods to kill somebody, why not go for the head? Why not the heart if you're gonna go for something like that? I mean, because if you're going for center mass, I mean, on an orc, orcs don't wear. Excuse me. Man, this cough, man. Maybe I got whooping cough. Who knows? Anyway, if orcs, as far as I know, I mean, some of them wore armor, but nothing as heavy as what most people are elves in the show, and in movies. We're seen wearing. A lot of them tend to go, raw dog it type thing, where they're just going in with the sword, minimal clothing, probably a cloak, something. Not a lot of them get decked out in armor. I mean, so your realm of possibility for things to hit with a sword is a lot higher than theirs is for you. Unless their swords are made of that mithril, then you got a problem because that's gonna go through some shit. But it makes no sense to stab something in the gut, twist it, and then slash out. Actually, she doesn't even slash out. She just pulls the sword back out, which is ineffective to begin with because you're already stabbed. Hold on. Stabbed, twist, and she said pull out. Why not, if you're going to do this, stab, twist, slice? Because now your sword's right here and it's at the ready. I'm not a sword fighter, by the way, but it's just what makes sense in my head from watching movies and common sense. And then your sword's out here instead of back over here, because back over here, not much you can do quickly, especially if someone comes over here. But if your sword's out like this and somebody's right here, you can just move it over, stab, block, parry, whatever the fuck you want to do. I mean, to have it pulled back here, kind of like a pussy stance. And you look how much of you is open when the sword's up over here. Well, if the sword's out here, yeah, it might still be open, but it's still at the ready, and your arm's extended. So whenever you swing at something or you parry something, there's gonna be all this muscle that's tensed up and ready to, you know what I mean. And then the fight itself wasn't even that good. Upon rewatching that scene, because I actually kind of dig the scene when I first saw it. I was like, okay, they're setting up Galadriel to be this badass, and should be if she's gonna be the commander of an army or whatever. Because that's what they're trying to set up. I mean, I know that's not who Galadriel originally is, but I mean, if that's the setup they're gonna go with in the show, they got to show something. The cave troll was but they got to show something, like being able to hold her own, because we haven't seen her in a sword fight with orcs yet, even if we ever do. But so they got to set up her ability to sword fight. So I was wondering if we were gonna see that, or if they were just gonna throw us in a combat scene and boom, there we go. But it was theater. There's like hardly any choreography here. Like she's fighting six, seven, maybe even only five people. Point is, she's outnumbered, and she's in a small alleyway, which is supposed to be a street, public street. And there's a part where she uses her two swords because she's dual wielding. Her two swords up like this. She might have had this one backwards, but she has her point is she had her swords up like this, and she blocks all five swords at once, and they're locked there. It's not very long, but longer than they should be. They're locked there. This is where editing would come into play, but they're locked there. They wait, and then she pushes all five away, and rather than taking a step back, maybe just leaning back a little bit, to where you recoil a bit and then you rebound. Every single one of the people's swords went up. They all did the same motion. They all went like up. I think maybe one person fell back, but that was after they did the up. I think he like tripped. And It's just horrible writing. Horrible writing. Um, let's see. What else can I talk about in this episode? Sorry. What else happened? The black elf goes to the tower, and then with human lady Balron or Balin or whatever her name is, does a little speech type thing about getting the people to rally around her to fight off the orcs rather than surrender. Half the people leave and go bend the knee to Adar, the evil elf, and then she sees Sauron's sword. Like her kid finally admits, "Hey, yeah, I've been carrying this around with me for a hot minute, and now I think it might be a problem." Because Sauron was attached to his ring. He could find out where his ring was when someone used it. What do you think's gonna happen if someone uses his fucking sword? I digress. But then she bitches out whenever she finds that out, and then is like, no, you know what? We're just gonna go. We're gonna bend the knee. We're gonna do whatever. But the first group that went, Adar had the tavern owner kill somebody to prove his loyalty. Now we don't see him actually kill the kid, but it's implied because the dude kind of like is not wanting to do it at first, but then he like gets into the zone, and then you hear the kid say no, and then it cuts. So literally, it's assumed he killed the kid. It's assumed, but the writing seems to be getting worse, and we're on 5 of 8 for a show where every episode costs like $500,000. They got to do better. They got to do better. And these next 3 episodes that's going to wrap up the season, they have to do better. And unfortunately, with these 5 previous episodes, I don't think they're going to be that much better. I don't. Let me know about your comments or your thoughts on the show down below, especially this episode, maybe the show in general. Like the video if you liked it. Dislike it if you disliked it. Leave a comment if you disliked it. I don't care. We'll have ourselves a nice little discussion, and then we'll go from there. Just do me a favor and bring in some backup points. No dead end arguments. Like, well, you're a bitch for saying it like this, or you're a racist or a sexist, or you're a no. Come on. If we're gonna have a debate, let's make it an actual debate. Don't Attacking's not cool. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought below, and I will catch you in the next one.